Storyteller. I wasn't planning on doing a video today, but let's do a video. And it's kind of an off kilter key video because I don't really have anything in particular I want to say, but I'm going to say a couple things. The whole Trump thing is wonderful, but then the whole corrupt judges and the activist judges, or I consider them to be corrupt or whatever. Pretty frustrating, but I'm glad to see that I'm pretty amazed to see that the second term of Trump is definitely fighting now. I talked to this young postal lady on the street who my dog nipped a few weeks ago, and so we've been kind of nice to each other now and friends. And it's been a rough thing, but she's been really nice about it. No blood or anything, but she's like frustrated with her job and like they don't know what they're gonna, if they're gonna have their work. And she's saying, and Doge is coming in and cutting everything. And I'm like, they're cut. You're essential because you're actually walking out here doing things, but there's a ton of people in there sitting in desks making millions, making hundreds of thousands, ripping off you and me, her, because she's barely getting paid. But the reason she's barely getting paid is because it's so top heavy. Everything is so top heavy in the government. In any company, it gets top heavy where you got like 27 producers and one worker, and that's the thing. And it's just so corrupt, and they're obviously just going to fight to keep it corrupt because they're just stealing from us. And they're not even stealing from us anymore. There's nothing left to steal from us. They've already stolen all of it. They're stealing from our future our grandchildren. From the grandchildren they're stealing from. They're cashing out the money, and it's a bunch of IOUs now, all debt, and millions, hundreds of thousands of left-wing Democrats and some Republicans too are screwing us over. They're ripping us off. I hope God catches them all. I'm glad there's a God. And these people know they're just doing jobs where they're getting overpaid and getting all of our money, and they're swindling the government. Swindling the government is taking money from us. And they're doing it, and they know they're doing it. And they're destroying this country because of it. But anyway, I'm glad that Doge is happening. If nobody gets arrested, if there's no trial starting soon about all this corruption and all these people in D.C., including desk workers, including that one woman with a mask complaining, all these people getting all these benefits for doing nothing in these jobs. If there isn't trials going on, soon, I'm fearful in the sense of as soon as they swindle and get back into power, it's going to go they're going to go way worse. Rip us off and destroy this country, and the communists are going to love seeing it happen, and they're going to pay them to do it too. I bet. Well, there was a rant. Okay, so I want to talk about some other stuff. I do have here, I'm going to do little fun quick bits here, and then fun little, I got a silly little thing I'm going to do at the end there. Okay. All right. Man, I saw this video come across my feed, and I watched this, and oh my God, this is so depressing. So basically this is, you can see how rich nations dump old cruise ships and oil tankers in developing countries. So this is like Pakistan. They basically dump them over there, and India has a big part of this. Turkey has some of this. They just park them, trash, and they're nefariously sort of illegal in the sense of there's supposed to be all these rules. If you watch the video, rules and regulations and laws, and it's like, yeah, whoever follows it. And a lot of them will sell them to third world nations who then sell them here, and then these countries for cheap, and then these countries obviously dismantle them. But it's all very toxic, and people die. It's all it's like slavery. And people live in these shacks and stuff, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so depressing. They live here. Look, they live in these shacks and just live here for, some guys living here for 30 years. They just sit around and weld all day. They work 14 to 16 hours a day. This guy works illegally, in this crane. He's been there for 30 years or 20 years. He doesn't know his family. He sends them money, and he never sees them. And it's just like, I'm just showing you where the ships go. This guy talks about it, but look at this. It's just incredible. They got burns and injuries. It's just, they sit around in India and Pakistan and do this work they start at 4 or 5 a.m. and finish at 8 p.m. I think they get a day off. I don't know. This is definitely not Christian. Just horrifying. Their clinics and hospitals are nowhere near them. If anyone gets hurt, it talks about the money. I just want to see some more of the visual stuff here. But God, it was just depressing. This guy, depressing me. He's had 30 years, hasn't seen his family. Just sits here all day and does this. And my point being, Thank God. Thank you, God, for I'm here in America and I'm living the life that I'm living. I'm just talking to my wife. I'm like, gee, man. And they're like, they're trying to make laws and regulations to change this, and that can change. My little rant here is that this is not going to change. It's not going to change until Christianize the land. Until you Christianize the land and plant churches in this area who organize and say this is destroying the people. Churches organize people, and it's organizing them into compassion. Islam doesn't do that. Islam subjugates the people and subjugates them into this kind of a world. Every place that's fully Islam fully goes into this sort of subjugation and becomes slavery. All Muslims are slaves. And they say, oh, there's good Muslims. The good Muslims are slaves. They're slaves to the warrior class. Islam has a warrior class, and they rule over these people, and they live in these horrible conditions. And across their state, and they work here because there's nowhere else to work. There's nothing else to do. And it's just nothing's going to change. They try to make all these laws, and it's talking about all these laws they need to do. All these laws, no one's going to enforce these laws because there's no Christianity. There's no church there to get the people to want to be righteous and good. So it's just like depressing. Okay, hold on a sec. This guy is asking me for a link. Hold on a sec. I made one of my players a mug, and he wants to link to the order, but I'm like, just go find it yourself. You know where it is. I just put it for you. All right. So it's just, man, this is just so depressing. But again, imagine if there was a church right here on this picture. If there's a church here or over here, like in medieval history in the West, this would change. The church would not, first the church would have compassion and help and gathering helpers, even like women, and maybe the wives would come and they would take care of them in the church, and they would protect them sexually, because that's what churches do. And then they would start to now change the hearts and minds of these workers, and then change the hearts and minds of the owners, and change the hearts and minds of the people. Then, okay, a Christianity in the church doesn't come in and if we allow evangelism to work the way it's supposed to work, and we as Christians push Christianity out, we would do it church by church, and it would not have to be this military thing or this UN regulations and laws that don't do anything, because the secular world is ineffective at doing any of this. The NGOs are totally ineffective at doing this. They get corrupted, they get bribed. Churches are the only way that compassion can go into these places. And we here, see, that's the problem. We here in America have allowed the secular and the left to control the narrative and the government and the procedures and the NGOs and created NGOs to replace churches. And this is the result. This is the result. Islam spreads, Hinduism in a sense spreads, and it creates a slave class again, slavery is huge today. And these are slaves. They can't leave. They're in wretched squalor, and they can't do anything but keep working until they die. And that's what the guy was saying. One of the guys, the workers, he's going to die there. And they work all day until they can go to sleep, and then get up and work again. And that's all they have. And they get barely fed. And it's just, and this is today. And it's here because the only thing that they have interaction with is the UN and NGOs. They don't have any interaction with the church, because the church cannot get in there because they are not protected by the U.S. government. The U.S. government protects the NGOs and the UN because that's all they've been sort of told to focus on, and that's all we believe in focusing on. And the USAID is a complete manipulative Democrat thing. They love slavery. They can talk a big talk and a holy nice talk, but they truly just allow this. And this is going on over and over and over as we enjoy our luxury cruises and cheap products from China with these vast freighters and stuff. But these are all Muslims. They're all Muslims sitting around, and it's really nice to see them smile. That's wonderful. But this is all they do, and they eat this and go back to work. They got to put on a smile, I guess. Here's their homes. This is all they know. Okay, so that's that. This video here is coming. I just came across my feed as well. The Disturbing Logic of the Left with Melanie Phillips. I don't know who this is, John Anderson Media and Melanie Phillips. And I listened to this video of her explaining how the left is, and I don't like it. I don't like it because, as observant as it is, she doesn't bring in the true essence of it all, which is biblical. she's explaining it in sort of a way that's okay, but then she has to, like the left, they have to squirm or avoid the actual truth that this is a spiritual war. So she's explaining how the left, supporting Palestine, and then October 7th happens, and then they realize that they're murderous, rapist monsters, but then they have to totally just hunker down and push even further and get even crazier. But she doesn't say in a logical reason why that is, and there isn't one. It's spiritual. The left has to hate God, in Jesus, and that's the only reason that the queer are supporting Palestine. Is really, think about it. They hate each other, but yet they support each other because they know the enemy of my enemy, Jesus Christ, is my friend. So they all hate Jesus Christ. That's what they hate, and they have to support the trans and the queers and the left have to support Palestine because they know Palestine hates God as well. And that's the whole essence, truth of it. That's the only thing that makes sense. What she's saying by their sort of mental gymnastics, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work unless it's spiritual. And anyway, that's just my little comment on this. It's an interesting video though, if you want to check this out. But it's the common reason why even most conservatives try to do mental gymnastics when the truth is so simple. And that I find frustrating, that they need, if we can't bring Christianity and Christ back into the discussion the way the left brings in their atheism and their godlessness and their perversity, and Islam brings in Islam all the time, yet we on the West can't bring in Jesus Christ and Christianity to the forefront of the modern media. That's the problem. That's why we're failing. That's why they have so much power and strength and destruction and manipulation and control in politics and in the government. That's why Democrats can always come back and get into the office and take control and take the election and take whatever locally and nationally, is because we won't bring Jesus Christ up front to the truth when it comes to all this stuff and the issues. That is why Islam is spreading so easily across Europe, and why the left is allowing them to come in and destroy their communities and neighborhoods and culture, is because the cultures there won't talk about it in the framework of Jesus Christ. They won't. They don't have a church culture. And I follow a bunch of them on X, and they post about why there's Islam here and why is our government allowing it. Well, I'm like, do you go to church? Is your church strong? Not a government funded pansy progressive church, but a real church. But are you all going to church? Because if you're not, and they're not, it's less than 10% in Europe. Less than 10%. Here it's about 30% as far as weekly going church members. So we're still hanging on to some truth here in America. That's why we do have a MAGA movement and a resilience. And 30% go to church, thusly another 10 or 20% get the ethics and morals and wisdom that we spread out from our church. But in Europe, they have willingly given up Christianity and Jesus Christ. And so it's like 10%, less than 10%. And a lot of places go to church weekly. Well, what do you expect is going to happen then? Because the Muslims there are all Islamic. So I don't know what's the question here, All right, I'm going to do one other last fun thing here. I'm going to go to Evil Bible and grab one Evil Bible assertion live. I'm going to force myself to do this. I'm going to go to evilbible.com or something like that. Get whatever. Okay, here's my advice when you deal with atheists. You cannot deal with them. You cannot debate them, because they will spout lie after lie after. They will just go on to the next one. As soon as you correct them on one, they don't care. They're reprobate. They're demonic. They're spiritually inept, and God has hardened their hearts. For me, debating atheists did nothing to change them. I could tell. What it did, though, for me, not even debating them, the tactic I used, I found very constructive for my own faith. It actually, what the atheists believe, actually sealed the deal for me with Jesus Christ and God. It really wow, I ain't going there. The best strategy is just give me your one best argument, one thing why you hate God, or whatever the discussion is. I just want one. As soon as they tell you they're one, done. You don't even have to, okay, that's all I want to know. Thank you, bye. Don't even talk about it anymore. Because they will, even if you counter the one that they give you, they will just go on to the next thing. And then the next thing. And then the next thing. and they don't care. They don't care if you've countered every one of their. You will tire yourself out. You will be frustrated, and they actually love that. They love that they've just thrown things, slanders, projections, accusations at you, and they don't care. They love that they did that. They love that they're hurting you mentally, spiritually, physically, and they just want to do that. The point of them is not to learn anything. The point of them is not to gain a perspective or anything. The point of them is to just continually mock you, scoff you, rattle you, get you violent to attack. You can see it on the left when they protest. They really want to protest in the sense of yelling right at you, spitting on you. They want to do everything they can to get you to hit them and lose your cool and lose it, and then go get in jail, and they smile at that. So there's no need to argue with atheists in the public anywhere. Just hear their one argument and then go and think about that, and then answer it for yourself. That's it. That's really all you need to do. And it strengthens your faith, and then it strengthens your fellowship with the men around you. Like when you deal with your other Christian brothers and sisters and stuff. But as far as I don't argue with atheists anymore. For the most part, I don't want to fall into their ridiculousness of just constantly. It's just so ridiculous, the ludicrousness of their accusations. But I'm going to do one. I like to do one, and I'm going to respond to that one. And that's it. So let's do this. I'm doing it live, not live, but I'm recording. I'm not going to edit or whatever. And if I do a horrible job, then I just won't even upload it. I've never not uploaded a video, but we'll see. I'm kind of nervous in the sense of I'm going to get one. It's like, but we'll just do it. Okay. Here we go. I got to go to the site. Let's see, evilbible.com or something like that. Evilbible.com. I think that's what it is. I can't remember. Okay. Oh, I just want to get one. Okay, I know there's a bunch here. I wish they here's the favorite one of all time. Okay, here, God. Okay, this is the one I'm doing. God also orders the destruction of 60 cities so that the Israelites can live there. He orders the killing of all the men, women, children, Okay, I've seen this one before, but I'll just. He orders another attack and the killing of all the living creatures of the city, men, women, young, as well as oxen and shastas, in Judges 20, Joshua 6. Yes. And just when he orders the murder of all the people of Jabesh and Gilead except for the virgin girls who were taken to be forcibly raped and married. When they wanted more virgins, God told them to hide alongside the road, and when they saw a girl they liked, kidnap her and forcibly rape her and make her your wife. Okay. Oof, boy. I don't even remember any of this. Like reading it obviously in this context. I mean, and I know a lot about this history. I know a lot about the going back into Israel and retaking land from the Canaanites, who are their cousins, by the way. I gotta stop. I'm gonna pause it because I know what I'm gonna look for in the Bible to start this off. But this is such a big one. Okay. Let me. Yeah, I'm gonna pause it and then I'm gonna answer this. Hold on. All right, let me just finish this real quick because I've seen this before. I've answered it before, in my own way and for myself. But this claim about this, it's very myopic in the sense of medieval history is about when you do a siege, it's very difficult. It's very heinous. There's so much corruption going on, even amongst people who want to surrender to you. They will manipulate and control and try to take over or whatever. I should have done something a little more. Whatever, but what happened too in this period was that the Israelites went into Israel. I'm just gonna go to camera. They went into Israel, but they didn't go there yet, and they were on the border of it for many years, and they were continually attacked by the Canaanites and all the different sub kingdoms and stuff, and they were all part of the same history from when Abraham was there. And all the different cousins of the Jews, and God said, like, if you don't defeat them, they're going to come in and change you, like they already learned from some pagan women that they had married and had become part of, which is the entire history of the Israel being corrupted, especially by pagan women, by the I should turn off. What's my bathroom door? It's not a bathroom door. So they were constantly being attacked and manipulated, and the women would get them to leave their faith of Hebrew faith and become a pagan and sacrifice their children. That was the goal throughout the entire thing by the pagans, was to get them to be human sacrificers. And they had these they had these idols, false idols. They had this dark, sinister slavery worship. That was the entire culture. And God said, you got to get in there. You got to defeat them. You got to kill them all, because if you don't, you're going to fail, because you think about this. You can't. There's no support system for taking in a bunch of prisoners of war or taking in a bunch of slaves. And they did keep some of the young girls, because the young girls were not going to turn into a sabotaging army. And obviously some of the young men wanted to have some of these girls. So yeah, it wasn't a great situation, but God was willing to overlook it, because he's like, you just got to go and deal with this, and take them all out. It's a horrible situation. It's a horrible culture. You can't go in halfway. You can't go in nice with these pagans and human sacrifice. And they only kept the ones that they got initially, and he said no more. So when they went to the 60 cities and defeated all of them, they could not take them on. They could not. There's no welfare system here. There's no, they can have, if they take these people and take care of them, then all the cities will just surrender, and then they'll just attack them from all sides, from within and from without. So the myopic view of the atheists is they just love to do this type of thing. They ignore every other conqueror in history, but conquerors who did it for vengeance, who did it to conquer a new land. These people were just returning to their own land. Remember, in Egypt, that was not their land. When they were returning to Israel, they were returning to their people, but their people were so corrupted, and so full of slavery and so full of human sacrifice, that there was no way they could do it. And they were attacked from the get-go. The Israelites were. They were harassed along the roadway. When they came in and out of Israel, they were continually attacked and raided by these people, by the Midianites, the Canaanites. So if you think about this, if atheists, someone comes in and to your home and takes your daughter, rapes her, kidnaps her, and then goes off. So what do you go and talk to them? What do you do? Especially in a dog eat dog world, what do you do? That's what they were doing. They were raiding, because remember the Israelites were in this long train of caravan of poor, struggling, no home, and they were raided all along that by the Canaanites. They were harassed for many years. What says here? Let me see. In Deuteronomy 25, remember what the Amalekites did to you along your way from Egypt, how they met you on your journey when you were tired and weary, and they attacked all your stragglers. They had no fear of God. So that's what it says in Deuteronomy 25. And then, of course, the atheists are not going to, when the Lord gives you rest from the enemies around you in the land he's giving you to possess as an inheritance, you are to blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. Do not forget. So if they in any way started to compromise with evil, just like we're doing today, they're going to get attacked over and over and over. And God says, no, this is how you do it. If they're going to be a horrible, evil culture, you take them out. I understand there's going to be, even like there's innocence within them. God will sort it out. God will sort out that. If that's a host of evil, there might be a couple of people in there that feel guilty about what they're doing. I get, but there's no way you can deal with that, that sort of understanding, because many of the evil within that culture are going to be deceivers anyway, and pretend they're feeling guilty. You can't, if the culture in and of itself is just sacrificing humans and enslaving people, you cannot go in, and there's 60 of them, 60 cities of it, and there's this entire land of it where you can't go in and decipher and discern who's good or evil. Like God, only God can. You can't. And you're a tired and weary, with pilgrims along who don't even have a home. You don't even have a fortress, and you're moving along this way through the desert, and you're being attacked. So I witnessed what the Amalekites did to the Israelites when they opposed them on the way to Egypt. Now go and attack the Amalekites and devote destruction to all that belongs to them. So they were doing horrible things. They were taking come on. So and medieval history is tough like that. So I wish I would have found something a little more modern in that evil Bible thing, but whatever. That was the part that I was annoyed by. It's an old thing again, old argument. But history, especially the Dark Ages, medieval history, it requires a lot of understanding the situation and what you have to deal, what choices you have and what choices you cannot take because of what will happen eventually to you if you take the wrong series of choices that'll mess you up. So just a annoying, frustrating thing about that, and about how atheists just use that over and over. They use this whole ancient history thing, to argue. And it is a sad thing. It's a sad thing. It's a sad story. It's a harrowing story, but it's about confronting evil and God sort of teaching them the harshness of and reality of human beings, of human nature, and that they have to deal with it anyway. All right, so that's it for this video. I just wanted to do one on a Monday. I got work to do though. All right, game of life, everybody. Roll like dice.